Right, there's an elephant in the room. You can't say a thing about Diablo 4 without somebody saying, yeah, but look at the greed. I can't support this. And, is that an unfair thing? No, actually it's not, because when you look into Diablo 4, you do see many, many different techniques to earn that money. But I think one of the big questions is, how does it compare to the rest of the industry? Are people only extra angry about this because it's a Blizzard product? Or because of Diablo Immortal? Or is it bad compared to other Blizzard games? Is it bad compared to what else is out there in the market? Well, I've done the digging, I've got the prices. Today we're going to work that out. And to be honest with you, it's pretty bad, but there's a little bit of a shocker at the end. So, people are really angry. Let's work out why. Strike one, it's really expensive. Now, over on the PC platform, what do you see? Well, you see Standard Edition $59.99, that is British pounds. You're looking at $79.99 for Digital Deluxe, $89.99 for Ultimate, and I believe those prices actually do just convert over into US as well. Now, when you go to the game stores, though, that's when stuff is more expensive. Basically, for us, it's, add £10 or $10 onto your price. For the storefronts, as an example, here is the PlayStation Store, and for our physical editions, we are looking at a base price of $69.99. Overall, then, that is quite a lot of money. The PC version is a little bit cheaper than the console version, but that makes a lot of sense. On the digital version sold on Battle.net, the only thing Blizzard's got to pay for is their own customer service and their own payment processing fees, right? There's no store cut or anything like that, so you're not giving 30% to Xbox or Sony, and of course you're not dealing with all the little things in the physical distribution chain that eat up your margin. Now, $70 for a video game, what do we think about that? Obviously, times went on, currencies have inflated, games sort of stayed around the same price, but people will then also say, well, games sold more and more copies. The market got bigger, right? Do those things balance out? Do they need to charge $70? And honestly, I think it's on a case-by-case basis. Indie games can charge in line with their value, and that can mean that a customer is going to feel happy. I think the problem is with AAA, they're always trying to aim for 60, now aim for 70, and for some games, that doesn't make any sense. Like, Lord of the Rings Gollum shouldn't have been that expensive. Redfall shouldn't have been that expensive. You look at, say, a Halo Infinite, you could perhaps say that given that the multiplayer was a free-to-play thing, therefore you're not getting a premium experience, that the campaign should have been cheaper than it was. In terms of value prop, I'd probably think so. When we look here then, I'd say if you're looking at God of War Ragnarok, Horizon, I think people could maybe start to justify that more premium price point. Elden Ring, if that costs $70, that's probably one of the rare exceptions where people would say, well, you know what, it's Elden Ring. There's like 500 hours of game in this game. That's absolutely mad. And also, it's Elden Ring. There's no BS. But a case like this, yeah, it's that extra price point, and it has all the other forms of monetization, which to me means that this is indeed strike one. Diablo 4 is too expensive for what it provides based on the additional monetization. Because I think that, for me, paying $69.99 for the game as I get it right now, that is an okay value proposition for me. It then feels bad that all the other forms of monetization are there. Even though they're things that I don't give a shit about, they undoubtedly do sour the experience, and I will talk about the quality of those store cosmetics versus the stuff that you get in-game fairly soon. Of course, we then go to Strike 2! It's actually more expensive than that. It's $20 more expensive. Here's the deal. This game, I spent $89.99 on it. Why? Because, well, if I wasn't doing work, I probably would have waited. But it's just one of those things. The $89.99 version includes the early access, some cosmetics I don't give a shit about, and the first battle pass. Now, there's a few things at play here. Number one is the network effect. Pretty simple. The network effect is why Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff gets big, or TikTok, right? Because the value of, the value of using the platform grows as more people use the platform. So the value of, having Diablo 4, that increases as more of your friends are able to play Diablo 4. And some of that is even kind of ingrained in the game mechanics because of how XP works in dungeons, where if you and 4 of your mates are in the same dungeon, no matter where you are in that dungeon, you'll all share XP, versus that being more of a lockdown radius-based thing in the open world. So if you actually want to power level your tunes up, well, you're going to want your friends to be there. And if you're the sort of person that's thinking about that, which of course is targeting the core action RPG audience, then the network effect is going to get people to do that upsell. Also, what I call the parasocial network effect. And that's just the idea of, you're seeing all the streamers play it, your Rikers and all the people who always play these, Kriparian, right? You see them play it. You're sitting there watching them play it. And you're like, fuck, I want to play it now. It'll come out in 4 days. But I could play it now. $20. What's that? Cinema ticket and some popcorn? Sure, I'll do it now. That's how all of that works. And then there is that owning that battle pass will encourage you to participate in Season 1, which is where more of the monetization will actually come online. So if you buy the early access edition, number one, you're more likely to be interested in the season pass because you've already paid more money, thus proving, I suppose, a deeper level of interest. And if you don't return into a seasonal character, then that Season 1 battle pass that you technically bought, boom, it's gone. All right, strike 3. I'm calling this one, At Least Take Me Out to Dinner First. So, here's the thing with Call of Duty. Did it recently just decide to, do the thing? It did. Did it take people out to dinner first? Kind of. Because whenever Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and this happens with most of the Call of Duties, whenever they come out, they don't have turbo microtransactions. You can't buy a battle pass. Like, that stuff's not there. The only thing that was there was a cosmetic bundle for the Call of Duty Endowment, where 100% of the net profits, they go to the COD Endowment, which is a non-profit charity that aids UK and US Armed Forces veterans. Now, when Call of Duty starts Season 1, there's a battle pass, there's a rotating store, and then with the DMZ mode, they're getting a little bit pay to win, as we've already covered in the channel. So make no mistake, Bobby's you're going to get done on Call of Duty, but they'll kind of take you out to dinner first with that lunch experience that isn't throwing all of it in your face. Now, I'm not saying this to say that, they're just doing it in Call of Duty by the good graces of their heart in terms of, I suppose, a bit of reputation management. It's likely an effective thing. Whereas right here in Diablo, no, they are straight in there with their microtransactions. But they're not microtransactions whatsoever. Let's talk about pricing. All right, Platinum. That's, sometimes it's gems, sometimes it's Valorant points. Today it's Platinum. So Platinum, basically, $1 is 100 Platinum. However, if you spend $24.99, then you unlock the, the bonus free Platinum, which isn't really free. Come on, that's silly. But yes, it will be 2,800 Platinum for $24.99, going all the way up to 99 of those United States dollars for 115,000 Platinum. God, how thrilling. But what does this actually get you? So, my PS5's at home, so I don't actually have screenshots, just grab these from the internet. Overall, what you get is skins, armor skins, like transmog items, accessories, which can be like back items, that kind of thing, mount bardings, and mounts. I would get you nice things, but the only way I could play it on this Mac is actually getting the new version of Mac OS and using their new DirectX 12 porting thing that apparently is pretty easy for just anyone to go and do, which is kind of crazy. But anyhow, this is a bit funky. So here's the most expensive one, the Wraith Lord. This is what's got everyone talking. I'm sure it'll be in all the thumbnails, maybe even in this one, for people's videos. And that's because, number one, it does stand out, right? You got that strong point of contrast with the helm, and it stands out another way, which is that it's 2,800 Platinum. That is $28. However, because of the way that the free bonus, which isn't really a free bonus, works, actually that will cost you $24.99. So, $25 for this. Now, what do our other skins cost? If I was to go on to Rogue, which is what I'm playing right now, here's the Blood for Money set, if you want this, I suppose, kind of like, I'm going to say, like, vaguely sort of Persian-ish vibe. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I should know my history a little bit better. But anyway, that's 2,000, so that's $20. The other ones cost, I believe, 1,300 Platinum. There's some other skins that are 2,500 Platinum, which of course is $25. They're all really expensive. right? And in terms of how those like kind of shake out, I mean, you could buy the $24.99 Platinum Bundle and get 2 of the cheapest skins. But if you were to get something like the Watcher and the Wind skin that costs 1,700 Platinum, you'd be left with 1,100, which would be enough to get like the accessories, which to be honest are really naff. So you'd be just shy of another, another skin, and then you would sort of think, right, if I bought a few hundred more platinum, then I'd be able to get another skin, and that's a higher value, of the platinum that I already have versus getting an accessory. But then you look at the platinum and you think, yeah, but, you can buy the platinum more efficiently if you buy more. And it's just all that thing to get you to, go up and up and up and up and up through the pricing ladder. And if you want to understand, pricing ladders done, I think, better than almost any other company in the world. I don't say this is a good thing, by the way, but look at my boy Tim Apple. RAM! Oh, Tim Apple wants to charge you for that RAM. But it's the pricing strategy for internal component upgrades on Apple hardware is like one of the best examples of that like price and upgrade laddering being implemented. Like it is, by the way, to be clear, scummy shit. But it's just how those kind of like little ladders of value are constructed so that it always makes sense. There can always be a strong logical reason to climb up to the next rung of the pricing ladder. And that is the sort of thing that they successfully implement here. It is exactly what they implement, here with their core game pricing, where the idea is, yeah, but if I'm going to buy the game, if I'm going to play Season 1 anyway, and because I'm excited for Diablo, and I haven't played it yet, you're probably going to overestimate your chances of wanting to play Season 1. So because you're already going to do that, you're like, okay, I may as well get the deluxe edition. It does have the battle pass anyway, and, I'll get to play the game early, right? Again, it's all that, constructing of the value ladder so that you are always going one rung up, one rung up, one rung up, spending more and more money. So one of my questions when I looked at this was like, right, what is this? This is bloody well expensive, especially considering you'll be expected to, have your battle pass rolling throughout all of the seasons. It's a lot, and again, how will they handle the addition of these skins over time? The one final thing I'll say, the way Blizzard said that the sort of the store skins and the in-game skins, that, you wouldn't really feel bad for not having a store skin. I really can't say I agree. Like, the store skin and the in-game skins that are obtainable, they all fit the world, right? So Blizzard, they were certainly saying, listen, you're not going to have somebody running around in the golden Santa Claus outfit that we added to the Diablo store at Christmas. Yes, they are generally fairly immersive, lore-friendly skins that would fit in the Diablo setting. So they do get a thumbs up for that, because I think one of the ways where a lot of this cosmetic stuff can actually damage a game for the people who don't engage in those cosmetics a lot is whenever the cosmetics are actively breaking the sort of fantasy of the game. So I do count that as a good thing. However, the in-game stuff's way more generic. If you want a specific aesthetic, absolutely the store is doing that, Like, for what I'm playing, I really, I really like that Blood for Money set, right? That prestige equipment cosmetic. I think it's cool. I love all the little pieces of jewelry. It's just really nice. And it's certainly targeting a unique aesthetic, a very purposeful one that the other in-game items aren't. If I then look at the other one, the Raised by Wolves one, yeah, you're not going to get that in-game. And the same for the Plague Doctor look for the Rogue. So basically, they all are immersive within the world, but in-game so far equals generic. Now, I will say, good generic, they do look good, but generic. Specific aesthetics, that is your in-game store. Now, big question then is, how does this compare? And what I want to do is compare it to another free-to-play Blizzard game, and that is Heroes of the Storm. So, in HOTS, funnily enough, gems, platinum, it's all the same. Like, the actual tiers are slightly different, but the amount of gems to dollar, even going straight up to 11,500 for 99 bucks, like, that shit's all the same. Now, in HOT, skins come in 3 different qualities, right? And it's the usual ones of rare, epic, and legendary. Now, a rare one is just a jazzed up sort of recolor of the base, skin for a character. Maybe it'll have a slightly different voice or something like that, but you know, very low effort and priced accordingly. Epics, though, like, they can have a voice change, they can, like, a proper voice change, you know, more animations, themed abilities, and then legendaries are like a full unique model, unique animations, new spell effects, new VO, basically a total retheme of the character. And when I was going through the store, they're between $1.50 and $7.50 each. But I think those are like purchased on a per tint basis, which is a bit different. At the launch of the game, the most expensive skins, because I don't want to exactly focus on HOTS as it's priced right now, because Blizzard obviously doesn't give a shit about it. At launch, though, the most expensive skins were about $15, as an example. Let's compare it then to Overwatch 2. And again, I must note, HOTS, free to play. Overwatch 2, free to play. Diablo 4, not free to play. So to look at an Overwatch 2, again, you are basically looking at $1 for 100 coins. Here's just like the top of the store right now. Your Cyber Dragon Hanzo, 1900, right? So that's basically $19. And is it a bundle? Yes. But is it stuff you don't give a shit about and then the skin you actually care about? Yeah, daffy. So $19 for a Hanzo. That is pretty expensive. If you want your Pinocchio Zenyatta, right, you can see pretty well orchestrated, that's $10. Spec Ops Soldier 76, two different color variations, that's $15. So Overwatch 2 is certainly what I would personally count as being expensive in terms of the value that you're getting. Is it cheaper than Diablo? I mean, it's kind of hard to say. You know, it's like being an FPS. In some ways, you're more intimate with the skin that you've purchased because of your gun and everything, but in other ways, a little bit less so. So it is what it is. But again, free-to-play game. So even if the pricing was one-to-one identical, Overwatch would win because you didn't pay $69.99 for it. Of course, then, that does lead me to Strike 4, which is the Battle Pass. Here's the deal. Overwatch 2 Battle Pass, it is $10, or I'll put $200 on my dock. No, it's either 10 or $20, basically, you know, the version that gives you the tier skips. What is different is the newer version. So your Battle Pass is containing, of course, a mythic skin, but the latest mythic skin, which is a sort of fantasy-inspired tracer, it's actually unlocked in multiple different stages, kind of like multiple variants. So your chances of at least getting some of that, you know, are good, but I still think it's absolutely disgusting that they would market one of these for its big mythic skin at the end. And, you know, life could get in the way. You're a few tiers away from it, and it's just like, no, it's gone. You can never get that unless you buy some tier skips. I just think that's so scummy. It's the part of Battle Passes that I hate. It's the one thing that at least Halo Infinite did right with its Battle Pass, where they would never expire and, you know, delete your money. The Diablo 4 one then is $10/$24.99 because the accelerated premium Battle Pass is 2,800 platinum, which is the same as the $24.99 bundle. Overall, I would say, look, that's fine, but the accelerated pass having unique cosmetic, that does feel terrible. As always, the actual value prop of the basic battle pass is pretty high in terms of like platinum / US dollar / whatever currency per amount of skin that you get versus just buying skins in the store, which is, you know, hyper expensive. For me, the idea of $10 for a 3-month season of content, if that season has enough changes, you know, all that actual development, if that's good, then kind of fair enough. In the same way that certainly in Destiny 2, there are many people who will purchase a season of Destiny 2 and they'll really get a lot of enjoyment out of that. So, you know, it is what it is. But what about versus the rest? This is where I just wanted to look at Riot Games, and honestly, I had no idea it was this bad. You might be in for a shock, because I know, like, when I think of Valorant, what do I think of? I think of, like, Zoomers, basically, like, Zoomers, the e-girl wave, and I suppose that's it. Yeah, and I suppose watching Optimum Gaming videos and thinking, oh my god, my aiming will never be as good as yours, which makes me feel a bit sad. Anyway, I was looking at Valorant, right? Holy shit! Valorant almost makes Diablo 4 look cheap. And you might, like, think I've lost my mind. Look at this! This is the Mage Punk collection. Now, the actual art, pretty class. That's cool looking. Right. 6,127 Valorant points. Valorant points are about 100 for $1. Right? So you're just looking at a base, like, I know it'll be less because it is more efficient to buy them at larger quantities, but I looked at it and The only way to get that much VP is to buy the maximum, $99 bundle. So your base pricing's mad. To even look here, right? Here's a knuckle knife, skin for the sheriff. That's just $12. $12 for a green sheriff. Want your Vandal, which I think is just the AK-47, to look blue like that. That's quite nice, but it's also $12. Now, what if you want your AK-47 to look like an AK-47? In that case, it's $17 for a gun. And the full black market collection, which, come on, it's like the FAMAS, the Glock, I'm assuming that's like the OP, whatever. These are just trying to look like their Counter-Strike equivalents, and the whole bundle of those is $71. Of course, it's less because if you're buying that much, you are going to be getting your Valorant points at a lower price, but still, I had no idea how expensive Valorant's, kind of more up there things are. Whew, yeah, bit of a yikes. I mean, I would need to have so many special voice lines and fancy reload animations that, I don't know, would probably make the game unplayable for it to justify that kind of price for me. But again, the thing about Valorant is it is seen as one of those, 100,000-hour games where you are just playing you are playing 100% of the gameplay of it just by default. I suppose other than it also has got the MOBA element where, you don't have full access to all of the agents. You got to buy them as well. Whew, yeah, I suppose they really are lucky that Valorant is a marvelously designed game. And that it's free to play because it is expensive. And of course, yeah, there's the $10 battle pass as well. As for LoL, the League of the Legends, well, it's pretty expensive, right? So your regular skins are, they're a bit cheaper, under the $10 level. Your ultimates and your legendaries, though, if you were buying your Riot points efficiently, they're still like $15 to $25, that is totally the range of a Diablo 4 thing. But these, in many cases, an ultimate skin, that's a goddamn retheme. Voice lines, animations, spell effects, the skin, everything, right? So, it's not like if I get my rogue and I purchase the Raised by Wolves skin, it's not like I get some, I don't know, wolf effect. Again, it's how would you even design that? Your twisting blades turn into miniature wolves. That would be sillier. Maybe they could turn into wolf fangs instead of blades, or I don't know what it is. Point basically is, you're definitely getting, you could maybe say the armor is going to be a little bit more, oh, look at the fancy materials up close. But with LoL, you're certainly getting a more complete package for the same amount of money. And also, it's a free-to-play game, unlike Diablo 4, which is not a free-to-play game. And the last thing to do is, of course, to go to the Path of Exile store. It is obviously a free-to-play game, unlike what we're dealing with D4. So your currency here is the coins, right? And basically, you are looking at 200 points. 200 points is $20. 10 points is $1. They also, of course, have got their supporters packs, which I think those are designed to be the thing for people to buy, the supporter packs, or buy that along with the season. So what you're basically getting here, 300, so that's 30 USD. For that 30 USD, you're getting 300 points, a forum title, portrait, soundtrack, ring, and a bear pet, right? So this is basically just a normal pricing tier for points. And I suppose it's almost like the whole extra bonus thing, just instead they're doing it with a pack that contains other things. Now, if you want to spend a lot more money, you certainly can. For 90 USD, you're getting 900 points. You're, getting your different portrait frames, stuff like that, your soundtrack, your pet, your ring. You do get an armor pack, a flask effect, portal effect, and a foot attachment. So, you do get those things plus your, your 900 coins. Now, the thing is, I've got to say, PoE stuff, it is expensive. I wonder if grinding gear games are just thinking to themselves, look, we have a bit of a niche audience here. We are the hardcore buildcraft. Because I know that they had their melee update, but I have a suspicion most people would still say that, Diablo plays better. But if you're deeply into the buildcraft and, those other very, enthusiast aspects of the action RPG genre, it really does seem the grinding gear games are kind of making what you want. The first thing that I did, though, is I did click in these gloves and I did laugh. So 10 points is $1. 10 points, $1. Those gloves are $8. That's a trailer for fucking gloves. Dude. Oh my God. Here is a trailer for some gloves, right? Very epic trailer for the Arachnomagus gloves. Sadly, it's not loading for me, but anyway. Now, these are $8 gloves, right? And here's the epic trailer. You know, you can hear epic trailer music for our amazing gloves. Look at this. Look at the character run with these amazing $8 gloves. So all this stuff is, is a bit silly. Certainly, like the full set of armor looks real awesome, but as an example, if we were to get the full Arachnomagus set, so this is going to be our body armor, boots, gloves, and helmet, you're actually dealing with $46. So, this is a lot more expensive than Diablo 4. I mean, $46, that is... 2 of those is the price of Diablo 4 Early Access with its first season pass. Path of Exile is definitely quite expensive, for its more premium things. Like, look at this hood. This is a $20 hood. Like 200 coins or points, $20. That's crazy. So it's one of those funny things. Now, that said, I know Grinding Gear Games have certainly had their dramas, but their whole thing has been like they've just been developing this game for a long ass time. And they do have, loot boxes. Like, here's the Crucible Mystery Box bundle. It has 5 Crucible Mystery Boxes. Each has a random prize with a Crucible theme, and you're looking at $25 for that. Now, they do say that there are no dupes. There are 20 microtransactions you can find in the box. Each has a varying number of thematic variations, and you'll never receive a dupe. Certainly, it's more expensive than Diablo. Again, it's free to play. And I think that's where we come back to it, I guess. And I mean, hey, like, that does look pretty nice, but still. Overall, that's our situation. Is Diablo 4 bad? Yes, absolutely. Are free-to-play games, though, getting shockingly expensive? I've really got to say yes. Now, it's optional. You don't need that stuff for Path of Exile. Okay, maybe you're going to need to buy some stash tabs. I think a little bit of a buy-in is acceptable for a free-to-play game to have an optimal experience. But certainly looking around all of this, yeah, this shit is getting really, really, really expensive. And I think we're seeing here a very bizarre situation, right? So what is Diablo 4? Diablo 4 is a platform, right? And what Blizzard wants to do is get loads of people playing, and they want just about everybody to be paying $10 a season. And then they want a smaller proportion of people to be buying lots of those cosmetics, because those cosmetics are, to say that they are a high margin item is absolutely, completely absurd. Now, I suppose what I think we should talk about is customer lifetime value, and think about this for yourself and some of the games that you've played. Certainly, I remember that I've played World of Warcraft, like on and off, but very much mostly on from 2007, and it's now 2023. Add those numbers up. Bit spooky, but I mean, it's not like World of Warcraft has worked out bad for me, so I can live with that. And I've made plenty of friends along the way. But certainly, somebody who's buying 3 premium skins a year, right? You're maybe dealing with, let's just say, $70 in skins. Then they are purchasing, let's just say, the non-accelerated Battle Pass. 4 of those every year. So now we're up to $110. And that's $110, and we have not even thought about the price of actually, purchasing the game. And I think the thing about their business model that's smart is they'll probably have done the lion's share of the development work in the period that you could almost say is funded by that $70 box price, in making the bones of the world, the 100 and whatever dungeons that there are. Their seasons are going to be variations of that, new rule sets, new mechanics, new things that exist on top. Smart, cost-effective ways to get more gameplay out of the assets that you have. And I suppose then they transition over to a monetization model that is more like the free-to-play lifestyle game. And that essentially is what they're trying to do. They are trying to get the upfront monetization of a big AAA blockbuster. And they're trying to have a AAA blockbuster tier campaign and all of these things. And then they're also trying to have the full monetization loop of what I suppose I would call a lifestyle free-to-play game. And I think you know what I mean when I say lifestyle free-to-play game. There's people who just, they play Valorant. That's all they do. They play League. They've been playing it hours a day for a decade. That's what they do. It's a lifestyle game. In the same way that someone would have said, I am off to go play 5-a-side with the lads. and you go to the leisure center and play some football. So in the way that football is a lifestyle game, and you don't need to wait for Football 2 to come out next year. You're just all playing football. It's like CS. People have been playing CS for 20 years. People have been playing, League for 10 years, right? Those just have that very different business model with those very expensive, transactions that you can really see Riot try to evolve here. It's one of those things. I think enough time has passed on it for now. But I remember an acquaintance of mine was speaking to somebody from Riot who worked directly in skins, and they were very boisterously, and there's certainly one or two hilarious things from that encounter, probably not at liberty to say, but one of the hilarious things was just saying, oh yeah, man, I am so good at picking skins for our community. I'm so good at picking skins to rotate onto a deal. I make a decision, we print $10 million. And you're just sitting here as an indie developer thinking, oh my God, you are... For the price of one skin, they could buy my game twice. Right? All this crazy shit. But that's what it's like with these big, deeply ingrained lifestyle games. So Blizzard are basically just trying to have their cake and eat it too. And this is leading to a big old clash of things in core communities. For a lot of people who are probably used to Path of Exile, they look at Diablo and maybe they're like, well, it's more game. I don't have to purchase extra stash tabs or do anything like that. And whatever, the cosmetics that are there, at least they're a bit cheaper than Path of Exile ones. And they'll probably go along their merry way because they are people who legitimately get thousands of hours of gameplay out of this. But I think when you look down in the comments of a video like this, am I reaching out to Riker or Kriparian's audience? No, I'm not. I'm not reaching out to core action RPG players. And that means that a lot of you guys are probably playing games like me. Maybe Resi 4 comes out and you're like, I'm going to play Resi 4. I'm going to spend the money for it. I'm going to play the game. I'm going to have fun, and then I'll be done. Same with Jedi Survivor or anything like that. So we take this business model and we think of it in terms of how we currently engage and pay for games. And we feel kind of shocked and disgusted. And that's that. I do not like this. I don't like it at all. And it's a real shame because I really think that Diablo 4 is, as a game, marvelous. It's one of those things I remember in the TV show Mythic Quest. You've got the heel of the show, Brad for Monetisation or whatever he's called. And everyone's just trying to make a game, and here's Brad being evil. So it's this thing where I feel like the game developers have done a marvelous job with this game. There certainly are things to fix. I think there are, a few problems on the horizon, but the core gameplay is fantastic. I am loving itemization. The whole, like extracting my legendaries, building up my Paragon boards. I'm really finding it to be engaging, and actually the prospect of buildcraft in this game, I am so there for it. I am shocked how much I am enjoying Diablo 4. It sucks that, you know what? It's like, hey, at least take me out to dinner before. Come on, man. It just comes down with that. It's a great game. It's a brilliant game. The store doesn't take away from the amazing work the developers have done. But the store is bad. They don't cancel each other out. They're just two things that we've got to contend with. Certainly, I have felt no desire to engage in the store. And I haven't felt hyper pushed into the store because I think the store is a really bad value for money. And frankly, in a game like this, my character is so small on a screen that is so completely full of effects that it wouldn't really matter what my character was wearing. I wouldn't really see it. So I'm here for the gameplay, the buildcraft, that kind of thing. And I will comfortably able to ignore this stuff. And as for the battle pass, I'd be engaged with the free battle pass because it has the, the stuff for alts that allows them to level up a bit faster, but there's nothing in the premium pass that is gameplay impacting. So it's one of those things. If stuff in that happened to look really cool, and I felt like a season was really saying like, hey, this is actually a lot of content, enjoy, maybe I'd consider it. But probably not because I don't like the FOMO and I just don't play games like this in that way. There's the deep dive. I did it. Come on, you knew this was coming. Of course, I think it's important to also do the comparison to the other games to see are what we're, is what we're thinking and feeling objective. And in this case, I actually do think that the disappointment and outrage over this is very acceptable. It's very grounded in reality when you compare it to the rest of the industry. Have a wonderful day.